Hey, welcome. So, have you ever asked the question, what is good? Okay. Well, that's the question we're going to dive into a little bit today. Stick around. So, welcome to Whiskey Philosophy, episode number 2. So, first couple of things. I know I said I was going to try to do this every week. Now, unfortunately, due to the nature of my job, it is very difficult for me to produce a video every week where I have to schedule and shoot and produce and edit and do all of these different things so that way I can put it out there. But it doesn't mean I'm not quitting. It just means I have to figure out the rhythm and figure out a routine to be able to do this and do the research and do what I need to do. Now, the second thing is it's called Whiskey Philosophy. I didn't tell you what I was drinking last week, and I need to make sure that I do that every episode. Last week I was drinking a single malt whiskey that's supposed to kind of emulate a Scotch, even though it can't be called a Scotch because it's made here in the United States. It's out of North Carolina. It's called Rua. And today we're drinking Balcones single malt Texas whiskey. And man, it's fantastic. If you want an adventure in your mouth, highly recommend getting them. But with that being said, as I stated before, I asked the question, I was like, have you ever asked the question, what is good? This is something that, as my job, what I do for a living, is I'm a general contractor. I do quality control work. And in the midst of all of this, I have to make sure that what our subs or what we do from a standpoint like this is making sure that the work that is done fits a standard, okay, which is acceptable, which is defined as good. Okay, this is really important when we think about these kinds of things, because good is defined from this standpoint as based on a societal whole or a norm, so to speak. And we then say, well, these specs or whatever this is, this is the standard that we have to meet, and anything beyond that is considered better than good. So good goes into a lot of different things. Okay, it can go into a lot more depth, okay, specifically behaviors. Okay, so if we think about behaviors of what we think are good behaviors or bad behaviors is based upon a collective, okay, understanding or acceptance of that, okay, from society. Society deems this behavior is good, this behavior is bad. Same thing with practice or anything else, especially like what I was talking about earlier with construction and specs and good practices. It's only until over time we figure out, hey, these things we need to do and these things don't. And it is through time of which we figure that out. So think about it like this. So I think about it like this. Is these good behaviors or bad behaviors? And I still ask the question, I was like, well, what is good? It's like, so I think the real question is what is it that I compare what I think is good? What am I comparing it to? See, I think that's where the so-called secret lies. See, my thinking is we may not know, okay, what good is. Okay, it may not be comprehensible. Okay, but we can at least, from an individual perspective and from a societal or world collective, start to understand and formulate what are good behaviors, actions, practices, whatever. But from this standpoint, it is something that is comparative, and that is very subjective. If we, as an individual, say, well, this is where I'm at, and this is all good, and that's all bad, it's only because of something of which I'm comparing this thing against. And again, we may not know what good is, but I think what it is, and I think the essence of this little episode, okay, is the fact that we strive to be better. We take what we've done in the past and we reassess and say, is this still a good practice? Is this still something that is good for us to do? And if not, we discard it, and then we improve upon it. We improve upon ourselves. And hopefully society eventually converges to this singular point. So with that being said, cheers. Welcome to Whiskey Philosophy.